Hi, my name's Aeolus and I like to smash. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has been out for over 7 years, and many, including myself, have been speculating about what the next installment would be like. Some say it'll be a hard reboot, others say it'll never happen in the first place. But one thing all of us agree with is...
someone's gonna get cut.
The roster of Ultimate has a whopping 89 playable characters. There's no way the next Smash game will have all of these characters on the roster as well. And even if they all stayed for the next one, it would undermine the impact and the whole concept that Ultimate had. So since everyone's cooking up their own rosters for Smash 6, I figured I'd throw my hat in the ring. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about what characters I would cut from the current roster, which ones would stay and what updates I would give them, and most importantly, which characters I would add to the roster. Now in this scenario, I am fully in charge and always have the final say in what happens, so there's a couple biased choices, but I did try to go with realistic choices from Nintendo's perspective. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's begin with the characters I would cut, and who better to start with than the original 12.
Oh, did I forget to mention? I'm insane.
Yes, I am cutting a couple of the OG Smash cast, and the first one on the chopping board is Ness, and by extension Lucas.
No more PK fire, baby! Woo!
Now let's be real here, if Ness wasn't included in the first game, no one would know who these two are. They'd be some of the most niche Nintendo characters you can think of. They are iconic, yes, but only because of Smash. The next one I'm cutting are the Spaceys, aka the Star Fox cast. Star Fox was very popular when it came out, and it has had some great games since, but it all went downhill after Star Fox Adventures. Their most recent game was Star Fox Zero, which was back in 2016, almost a decade ago. And the name is very fitting considering that's how many games have been released since.
Which is 0. Pause for laughter.
Now, the trio did make an appearance in the Switch version for Starlink Battle for Aeolus, but if they couldn't save their own franchise, they certainly couldn't save this game from flopping either.
Sorry, Melee fans. They're out.
The next one I'm cutting is Jigglypuff. Now, P. Jiggles, if you're watching this.
Sorry man, het moest gebeuren, maar geen zorgen. Ik heb een goede vervanger.
We good. Jigglypuff was only included as a joke character, and she stuck around for every game, yes, but she was almost cut in Brawl. And if she was, I'm willing to bet that she wouldn't have been in Smash 4 either. Cutting Jigglypuff is just a logical move, especially since this Smash 6 is most likely going to be a soft reboot. I'm also scrapping Pichu for obvious reasons, and Pokemon Trainer, because out of the technically 10 playable representatives on the Smash roster of the biggest multimedia franchise of all time, over half are from the very first installment. Considering we're on number 40 now,
Holy fuck!
I think it's a little unfair to give the first one this much attention. I'm also cutting Greninja because he was added to Smash before his debut game even came out, so his moveset is just what the Smash developers thought he would do. Lucario and Incineroar have significantly more original and fun movesets, especially Incineroar. Let's do Fire Emblem next. Oh boy, do we have a bone to pick with Fire Emblem.
Now, if you ask me, I'd cut them all out of sheer spite, but Nintendo would never allow that, so...
I cut Lucina and Chrom because I didn't want any Echo Fighters, and I also cut Roy because, let's be real, he's one step away from being an Echo himself. I also cut Corrin because he was only included for marketing purposes, and you'd think that I would cut Byleth for the same reasons, but I cut Ike instead. The reason for that is that Marth is basically the mascot for the franchise, so I couldn't cut him. Robin is the most unique rep for the series, not to mention his game being responsible for the fact that his series has more reps in Smash than The Legend of Zelda, Metroid, Kirby, Donkey Kong, Minecraft, Sonic the Hedgehog, and is one rep away from being tied with Super Mario. So he wasn't gonna get cut either. Byleth comes from the best-selling game from the franchise, while Ike is just Marth again, but slow.
Now, I said no Echo Fighters, so Dark Samus is out, and so is Zero Suit Samus, because I don't want any duplicate characters either.
So Dr. Mario is out too, but he'll be an outfit for Mario, like how Alf is an Olimar alt. I'm also cutting Daisy, because no echoes.
Rosalina and Luma are also gone, because who even plays them?
My brother, actually.
Really? Okay, so Meo's brother's the only one who plays Rosalina. I'm still cutting her, though.
Piranha Plant, as much as I hate to say it, is also out because he was just included as a fuck you to the leakers, and Bowser Jr. because I just can't cut any of the other 4 characters. The Legend of Zelda is next, and I'm cutting the Lynx and Sheik. The Legend of Zelda has really gotten the shaft in terms of Smash reps, so I'm replacing these 3 with 3 other reps to make up for that fact. And I'm obviously not going to cut any of the Triforce trio, considering you play as one of them in every single game in the franchise, except one. Another one is literally the title character in every game, except one. And the other is the main antagonist of the franchise. Alright, what's next? I'm cutting Kid Icarus entirely. First off, no echoes. Secondly, this series only has 3 games, and if I'm cutting Star Fox, I'm definitely not keeping Kid Icarus.
Is everyone ready for the Who Gets Cut lightning round? Starting with...
Diddy Kong's out because I had to cut one from the Donkey Kong trio, and since K. Rool's surprise final boss appearance in Donkey Kong Bonanza, yeah, he definitely earned back his relevance, so Diddy Kong had to go. Simon's out because they only have a couple spots for retro reps, and Richter's out because no echoes. Duck Hunt Duo is out because of the retro thing. Little Mac, Mega Man, and Ice Climbers are all out for the same reason as Simon. Sora's out too because I doubt Disney will let them do this twice. Bayonetta's out because... Ken's out too, no echoes. Sorry Ken, you weren't enough this time. I only wanted one Shoto, so Kazuya's out too.
What about Terry?
Who?
Alright, only a couple left to be cut, and then I'll be satisfied. I'm cutting Sephiroth, even though I really didn't want to. Since I'm keeping Cloud and Hero, and I want to add another Square Enix character, I figured it would be fair to cut Sephiroth. I'm cutting Shulk because Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is way more popular than the original, and Pyra and Mythra just feel like they would represent the franchise better in Smash than Shulk would. And lastly, I'm also cutting Snake because the other characters left simply have better reasons for staying, and Snake's already been cut once, so no harm, no foul.
Well, that took a couple of years off my life, but I did it. I cut the Smash roster in half. Now let's ruin it by adding a ton of new characters, but first let's talk about what updates I'd give the characters that made the cut.
Mario would have more references to Super Mario Odyssey because this is a fucking disgrace. Luigi gets Gooigi and Builder Luigi skins. Donkey Kong would sport his new Bonanza look, even though it's only been around for like a year. Rare Donkey Kong just looks uncanny now. Also, a Bonanza style Fun of Smash would be cool, and of course a Funky Kong skin. Sonic will be reworked completely. No more... Maybe give him attacks based on Sonic Frontiers, or the Chaos Emeralds, or give him the thingy the player character has in Sonic Forces, or something with the wisps from colors. Give him Sauron's Ring for all I care, just don't make his moveset 90% ball. Link will be updated to his Tears of the Kingdom look, because he looks like a badass, and a Zonai move will be sick. Ganondorf 2 will be reworked, because tell me,
Do these two look like the same person to you?
for those that have played Smash but no Legend of Zelda, Ganondorf isn't a fist fighter. He is a perfectly capable and powerful warrior, yes, but make no mistake, this man is a sorcerer first and an incredibly powerful one at that.
Give this man the respect he deserves!
Samus would maybe have her Metroid Dread suit and the Metroid suit in the final Smash. Pikachu gets a Detective Pikachu skin. Make it a gimmick when Lucario Mega evolves for his final Smash, it's random which one of the 2 Megas it is. Inkling would have Splatoon 2 and 3 inspired skins. Steve would have skins inspired by the other Minecraft games, cause why not? And the Miis would now be updated even more to just be Mii fighters, and you can choose the weapon and everything like choosing a costume. That's it for this part. Now it's time for the main event. Which characters would I add? Let's start with the characters from franchises that already have reps in Smash. First up,
Waluigi!
Of course I'm adding Waluigi.
Waluigi is the most requested character ever, now that Ridley, King K. Rool, Sora and Steve are all in. He needs to be added now.
Am I the only one that thought that when Sakurai revealed the 6th fighter for the second pass, it was gonna be Waluigi? I don't know, I just feel like it's just like, fuck it, let's just put him in.
He could have a moveset based on the Mario spin-off games. Make his final Smash the crowd shop, Nintendo please, I'm begging you. Up next,
Shadow!
now the Sonic franchise has tons of good characters I could add. Dr. Eggman, Tails, Knuckles, Metal Sonic, Silver, Zavik, Chip, the Ginger Lady from Sonic 06, Lyric. Definitely gonna get hanged for that one. But Shadow in my opinion is the best one to add as he complements Sonic so much. Also I feel like my best friend would kill me if I didn't go with Shadow. Now let's talk about The Legend of Zelda next. I mentioned I was replacing Young Link, Toon Link and Sheik with 3 other characters, so firstly I'm replacing Young Link with
Skull Kid!
Now I'm realizing I'm just upgrading assist trophies to characters so far, but they've just been the best choices. Skull Kid is probably the second most iconic and popular Zelda villain, and he deserves a spot on the roster. Next, I'm replacing Toon Link with
Coffee!
I wanted at least one Zelda rep from the Toon art style, and Vati was by far the best choice. He's got good moveset potential, and the Smash roster needs more villains anyways. The last Zelda rep was a little tricky. I've contemplated adding many characters. Tingle, King Rauru, the hero Shade, Null, Zant, Midna, Apocalypse, Sia, Urbosa, the list went on and on and on and on and on. But eventually I landed on...
Drumroll, please. Good enough.
Sidon!
Sidon is one of the most beloved Zelda characters. Seriously, everyone, including me, loves this guy. He's just incredibly likable. I don't know what it is about him. I really wanted each Zelda rep to represent a different age of Zelda, but I broke that rule by adding Sidon. That's how good I thought he'd fit in Smash. He's got potential for an incredibly unique moveset, and compared to the other Zelda reps, he also stands out as unique appearance-wise. Next up is...
Ravenbeak.
I was unsure on whether to add Psylocke, Ravenbeak, or an Emmy, but I landed on Ravenbeak, as he's the most important to the story of Metroid. The gist of it is that Ravenbeak is partially responsible for Samus receiving Chozo DNA, meaning without Ravenbeak, Samus wouldn't be Samus. Not to mention, he's the final boss Samus faces. Timeline-wise, Metroid Dread is the last game, and Ravenbeak is the final boss, so I thought he would be an excellent fit for Smash. Also, I really want a Ravenbeak amiibo. Next up is Pokemon. Now, the reason I kept the ones I did wasn't just for gameplay reasons, but also because I wanted to represent the franchise better. So, Pikachu and Mewtwo represent the golden age of Pokemon, gens 1 through 3. Lucario represents the middle age of the games, gens 4 through 6. And Incineroar represents the modern games, gens 7 through 9. Now, we're headed towards Generation 10, but unfortunately we're still too far away to add a Gen 10 rep. So what I'm doing is the following. I'm replacing Pokemon Trainer with...
Saberland and Honoroo.
These two are some of the more popular Gen 9 Pokemon, and I feel like they're a good substitute for Pokemon Trainer. The switching mechanic would still be there, and the franchise would have better representation. In addition to this, I'm replacing Jigglypuff with...
Starmie.
The reason for this is simple.
Need I say more?
This is so funny. I love Mega Starmie so much, unironically. Jigglypuff, like I said, was the OG joke character. So I thought it would be fitting to put Starmie in as the new joke character. His main mechanic would be like Joker and Arsene, where the more damage Starmie takes, the more the meter fills, and when it's full, he'll Mega Evolve, and he'll be stronger in everything. I will die on this hill. This is a good idea. Alright, what else we got? Splatoon. Fuck it.
Big Man.
Look, I don't play Splatoon, it's not my thing, but I feel like Big Man would be one of the more unique choices you could go with. I could go with an Octoling, but that's too basic and similar to Inkling, so Big Man it is.
Now it's time to add a couple of brand new franchises to the roster.
Chorus hits.
Rhythm Heaven is a relatively obscure series, but it's beloved by those that know it. The reason why I think they'd be a good addition to the roster is moveset potential. The Chorus Kids will be a more advanced character like Steve and Hero. You have to time your button presses for extra damage, and their moves will be full of references to the other characters in the series. Now, I mentioned I didn't want too many retro reps, because I wanted to add a couple. One of those is...
Excite-Bike.
Excite-Bike's been requested quite a bit, so why not add him? It'd be fun to see him in the roster. As for some more modern representatives...
Ring Fit Trainee.
And the Drag and Drive Robot, or
Drag Bomb.
as I like to call him. Both are motion control based games, which is irrelevant, but I feel like standing side by side with Wii Fit Trainer and Min Min respectively would be cool. I think both would make great additions to Smash, and I unironically really want Dragbot in Smash. I don't know why, I just really want him there.
Now it's time for the third party reps. Now these are a little more unrealistic, but I feel like I've picked out a good batch, mostly.
Polygon.
Monster Hunter already has a boss fight in Smash Ultimate, so why not add a fighter? Since the Monster Hunter games allow you to basically play as yourself, I figured a Polyco would be a better fit than a protagonist.
Rayman.
Rayman is already a popular pick as a new fighter, and considering Ubisoft and Nintendo are all buddy-buddy, it's not out of the question. I wonder how they'd make the amiibo though. Speaking of Ubisoft...
Rabbits.
The rabbits were probably really close to making it into Smash anyways. For God's sake, Mario was in the same game as these dudes, and it got a sequel. There's no way they can skip another game.
They are coming.
For real though, I'd love to see the two rabbits from Rabbids Go Home specifically, because it's one of my favorite childhood games, and I feel like it'd be really funny for one of their grabs to grab you and throw you in the shopping cart. I mentioned earlier that I was adding another Square Enix representative.
Gino!
Of course I'm adding Gino, we all knew this was coming. I don't even need to explain this one.
Now it's time to move on to the more unrealistic ones.
Pyro!
Yep. Now I'm very much biased, but hear me out. Spyro the Dragon was huge in the 90s, and he was even bigger in the 2010s, because of a little franchise called Skylanders. And based on sales alone, Skylanders deserves a spot in Smash. That spot isn't going to Spyro though, but we'll get to that in a sec. I'm adding Spyro because he's unique, he's beloved, he's retro, and he represents two massive franchises, even though both are pretty dead nowadays. I was contemplating adding Crash Bandicoot, but Spyro had the extra franchise thing going for him, so there you go. As for the Skylanders rep, I went with
Gilgrunt!
Gilgrunt is the only Skylander that has appeared in all 6 games. In the first 5 he had a figure, and in the 6th he was an NPC, and of course he was playable in all of them. Gilgrunt is also one of the most iconic characters from the franchise in general, and almost everyone that has played any of the games knows who he is. And if I'm being honest, I just really want a Skylanders character in Smash, and this is my video, so shush.
I also made a Gilgrunt amiibo in preparation for Smash 6.
I'm available on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Hit me up, Nintendo. I'm not willing to work for free, but I'll work for very little. Here's where I lose everyone. Indie games. With Steve's inclusion to Smash, the floodgates have opened. No longer is the franchise exclusive for characters from big AAA studios. Any character is now possible.
Except for Waluigi, apparently.
So naturally, I added a couple.
The Knight!
Hollow Knight is one of the biggest indie games in recent time, and its sequel, Silk Song, was the most wishlisted game on Steam. It had gotten to the point where when they just casually dropped their release date, like, hey, we're releasing this like now, a shit ton of studios moved their games to releases because they knew damn well no one was gonna buy their game. They were all gonna be playing Silk Song. This game is iconic, and it would be a crime not to include the Knight. Now I have some more big names, but let's go with this one first.
Zagreus!
I don't know if it's just me, but Hades feels like a Nintendo game. Zagreus would just fit really well in the roster, I think, and there aren't any roguelike reps yet. Hades is a smaller game than some others I'm adding, but it's beloved by those that have played it, and I think it would be a great fit in the lineup. I'm also adding
Sona!
I don't know if he counts as an indie rep, I think so. When I first wrote the script, Dispatch wasn't even on Switch yet, but I knew it was coming, and I was right, though the Switch version sucks. Dispatch is one of the most popular indie games in recent years, selling over 3 million copies as of January 2026. Plus, there isn't a game on the roster yet like this. There's no Telltale-style representation on the Smash roster, and I just want Most Critical in Smash.
Get this man in Smash Bros. Now.
Now it's time for...
Fire!
I think this one's pretty predictable. Undertale's creator, Toby Fox, has already worked for Nintendo, and Sans is 2 steps away from being a character already. There's no questioning it, Sans is a likely choice for Smash 6. I wanted to add one more indie rep, but it was really difficult to narrow it all down to just 5 new reps. So many good options. Cuphead, Bendy, Riley Robinson, The Farmer, Shantae, Shovel Knight, The Traveler, the Thumper Bug thingy, the list goes on. And I even briefly considered the Rocket League card.
Is Rocket League on Switch?
But there's one name that stands above them all. A titan among titans. The man, the myth, the legend himself.
Freddy Fazbear!
Hear me out. To call Five Nights at Freddy's a popular series would be a massive understatement. The game has been around for over a decade now, and it has made... Holy shit, that's a big number. Combine this with the fact that its characters and story are beloved by millions, including me. Freddy Fazbear would be a great indie rep, I have no doubt about it. I have a lot of fun ideas for his moveset, like one of his taunts, he squeaks his own nose, and his final smash is just a jump scare. I hate to say it, but I think Glamrock Freddy would be the best choice to put in Smash, but the OG one needs to be a costume at least.
Now there's one more spot left, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm crossing the line of realism so far I can't even see it.
Rico!
Now hear me. Who am I kidding? This doesn't make any sense. I know that it's impossible unless God of War stops being console exclusive and starts showing up on the Switch as well, but I just want my favorite game to receive some love in Smash. And if this were to really happen one day, I would be over the moon. But I know fully well that this is the only character on this roster that is actually never going to happen. I just put him here because I needed to fill one more slot, and I figured screw it, why not? But I said I'm only doing semi-realistic ones, so I don't fucking know. Taboo from Subspace Emissary. And with that, my Smash 6 roster is complete. What do you think? Do you agree with my choices, both in cutting the characters and adding them? Or do you think I should have made different ones? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to see what other people cook up. Before I leave, I want to give my thanks to Journey to Nowhere as usual for letting me use their music again. That's all for now. I've been Aeolus. Until we meet again.